Jack's apartment was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the faint sound of traffic outside. He sank into the worn-out couch, rubbing his face with one hand while trying not to think about the pile of laundry on the floor. Lily, his 7-year-old daughter, was sitting cross-legged on the rug, her little fingers tracing the frayed edges of her favorite stuffed bunny. "Daddy," she said softly, looking up at him with wide, innocent eyes, "why don't you ever go out?" Jack forced a smile, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "Because I have to work, Pumpkin. Someone's got to take care of us." She frowned, tilting her head like she was trying to understand something much bigger than herself. "But don't you get lonely?" Jack's chest tightened. It was a question he hadn't thought about in a long time. Between his double shifts at the factory and putting Lily to bed every night, he barely had time to eat, let alone think about dating. The truth was, he hadn't been on a real date since before Lily was born. And even then, every attempt ended in awkward silences or him realizing he couldn't handle anyone interfering with the little world he had built with her. Tonight, though, he had made a decision, one he wasn't entirely proud of. He had hired a girlfriend for a night. He leaned back, closing his eyes, trying to convince himself it wasn't a big deal. Just one night. Someone to make Lily laugh, to give Jack a chance to feel normal for a few hours. He had scrolled through countless profiles online before settling on Emily, someone kind, professional, and most importantly, someone who understood boundaries. The doorbell rang, jolting him out of his thoughts. Lily jumped from the rug. "Who's that?" she asked, her voice filled with curiosity and excitement. Jack straightened his shirt, his heart thumping. Someone special for tonight," he said, hoping his tone sounded casual. Opening the door, he found Emily standing there, smiling warmly, a small bouquet of daisies in her hands. She was beautiful, not the kind of beauty that made him nervous, but the kind that made the room feel lighter. "Hi, Jack," she said softly. "I hope it's okay. I brought these." Jack's throat tightened, and he stepped aside to let her in. Lily's eyes widened immediately. "She's pretty, Daddy," she whispered. Emily knelt to Lily's level, handing her the flowers. "Hello there, Princess," she said. "These are for you." Lily's face lit up, and Jack felt a pang of guilt mixed with relief. Maybe tonight wouldn't be as awkward as he feared. They sat down for dinner, takeout from Lily's favorite pizza place, and conversation flowed in fits and starts. Emily laughed at Lily's little jokes, and Jack found himself watching them, amazed at how naturally she fit into their small, chaotic world. For a moment, he forgot about the stress of bills, work, and the loneliness that usually filled the apartment. As the evening drew on, Jack realized just how much he had missed this connection. Not the fleeting connection of a casual night, but the kind that made him feel human again. Emily had that effect without even trying. Finally, the night came to its inevitable end. Jack walked Emily to the door, the awkwardness returning now that the temporary escape was over. "Thanks for tonight," he said, his voice low. I really appreciate it." Emily smiled. "You don't have to thank me, Jack. You're a good dad and Lily is lucky to have you." Jack felt a lump in his throat as he closed the door. He turned to Lily, ready to resume the normal routine of bedtime and quiet nights, but she was standing there, her eyes shimmering with hope. "Daddy, can she stay?" Jack froze, staring at his daughter. "Lily, she can't. She has her own life." "But she's nice," Lily insisted. "She laughed at me. And she didn't look at you like other people do. She looked at me too, like I mattered." Jack sank to the floor beside her, holding her tiny shoulders. "I know, Pumpkin. I know. This is complicated." Emily, hearing the whisper, placed a gentle hand on his shoulder from the other side of the door. "Sometimes complicated is just life trying to tell us something," she said softly. Jack looked at Lily, then at Emily, and for the first time in years, felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this night wasn't supposed to end. Maybe, just maybe, it was the start of something real. And Lily, with her innocent heart and unwavering belief, whispered once more, "Please, Daddy, can she stay?" Jack's chest tightened. He didn't have an answer yet, but he knew that for the first time in a long while, his world had shifted, and nothing would ever feel quite the same again. The next morning, Jack woke to the sound of Lily giggling from the living room. His eyes snapped open, bleary from a night of tossing and turning, haunted by thoughts of Emily. He had barely slept, caught between relief that the night had gone well and anxiety over the way Lily had looked at him when she'd whispered, "Can she stay?" He stretched and rubbed his eyes, trying to convince himself it had just been a fleeting fantasy. But when he stepped into the living room, the reality hit him like a punch in the chest. Lily was sitting at the table with a drawing she had made, Emily's face smiling back at her, complete with flowers and a sun in the corner. "Daddy," Lily chirped, waving the drawing. "Look, isn't this her?" Jack knelt beside her, forcing a smile as he examined the colorful crayon masterpiece. Emily's smile was exaggerated, almost cartoonish, but Lily had captured her warmth perfectly. "She's very nice, Pumpkin," Jack said, trying to keep his voice neutral. "She's the nicest," Lily insisted. "Daddy, can she come back?" Jack's stomach sank. "Lily, we can't just—" Before he could finish, his phone buzzed. A text from Emily lit up the screen. "Good morning, Jack. I know last night was unusual, but I wanted to say I had a wonderful time with you both. Lily is amazing. If it's okay, I'd love to come by again. Maybe lunch today? No pressure. Just if you want." Jack stared at the message, heart racing. He swallowed hard, unsure whether to respond with a polite refusal or something else. He glanced at Lily, whose hopeful eyes were fixed on him. "Please, Daddy? Just for a little while." He sighed, knowing his resolve was crumbling faster than he could admit. "All right," he said, fingers shaking as he typed a reply. "Sure. Come by around noon." Lily squealed, jumping into his arms. "Yay. She's coming back. She's really coming back." By the time Emily arrived, Jack had scrambled to clean the apartment. Not that he ever really managed it, but the flowers on the table and the faint scent of coffee made the space feel a little more welcoming. Emily stepped inside, her smile instantly lighting up the room. "Hi, you two," she said warmly. "I brought sandwiches." Lily ran to hug her, and Jack found himself laughing despite himself. The sight was almost unbearable in its sweetness, his daughter, beaming, and Emily, bending down to meet her gaze with patience and kindness. They ate together, and Emily kept the conversation light, asking Lily about school, her favorite games, and even her secret stash of mismatched socks. Jack watched, feeling a strange mix of relief and guilt. She wasn't just a hired girlfriend, she was patient, funny, and genuinely interested in their lives. After lunch, Lily tugged at Emily's hand. "Come play with me, please." Emily hesitated, glancing at Jack. He gave a small nod, realizing that maybe letting them bond was exactly what they needed. "All right," Emily said, kneeling on the rug beside Lily. The next hour passed in a blur of laughter, crayons, and giggles. Jack sat on the couch, pretending to read a magazine but actually watching Emily interact with Lily. Something deep inside him shifted. He realized he had forgotten what it was like to just relax around someone. Emily made it easy, comfortable, safe. Eventually, Emily looked up, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Jack, this feels right," she said softly. Jack froze, unsure how to respond. He had hired her for one night, a brief illusion to make his daughter happy. Yet here she was, effortlessly slipping into their lives, making him imagine something he hadn't dared to dream of in years, a real family. Lily, sensing the unspoken tension, climbed onto Jack's lap. "Daddy," she said, "can she stay forever?" Jack chuckled, holding her close but feeling the sting of uncertainty. "We'll see, Pumpkin. We'll see." Emily's gaze met his, and for a fleeting moment, they shared a silent understanding. Neither of them needed to speak the words aloud. This wasn't about a one-night arrangement anymore. Something was blossoming, something real, fragile, and terrifyingly hopeful. By the time Emily left, Jack felt a strange emptiness. Lily, however, was defiant. "Daddy, can we call her tomorrow too? And the day after? And maybe next week?" Jack laughed, ruffling her hair, but inside, He was already imagining it. Lunches, playdates, and evenings that didn't feel so lonely. Maybe, just maybe, letting Emily stay wasn't such a bad idea after all. As the door closed behind her, Jack sank onto the couch, exhaustion giving way to something heavier, a glimmer of hope. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to wonder what the future could look like, if they were brave enough to take a chance on someone who wasn't just pretending to be family, but who could actually become it. And Lily, curled up against him, whispered in that small, insistent voice that had started it all. "Can she stay, Daddy? Please?" Jack didn't answer yet, but the truth was, he didn't have to. His heart had already started saying yes. The following week, Jack noticed a strange energy in his apartment. Mornings felt lighter, laughter lingered longer, and Lily was practically skipping to school. Emily had stopped coming just for lunch. Now she was showing up for homework sessions, movie nights, and even helping Jack fix things around the apartment that had been ignored for months. Jack, of course, pretended not to notice the small changes she brought with her. Pretended that the way his chest tightened when she smiled at him wasn't significant. Pretended that the way Lily's eyes sparkled whenever Emily entered the room wasn't proof that his daughter had already decided who mattered. But pretending was getting harder. One evening, Jack returned from his double shift to find Emily kneeling on the floor beside Lily, both of them giggling over a puzzle scattered across the rug. The sight should have made him smile. He had spent years dreaming of a partner who could understand Lily, but instead, his chest ached with a mix of longing and fear. "You're late," Emily said, looking up at him with mock sternness. "We were about to finish the dragon puzzle without you." Jack chuckled, ruffling Lily's hair as she grinned. "I'm sorry, Princess. Long day at work." Emily tilted her head, her eyes softening. "You work too much, Jack. Don't forget to live a little." Jack swallowed hard, staring at her. That casual familiarity, that warmth, it was starting to feel dangerous, in the best possible way. Dangerous because he was supposed to keep this simple, one-night, professional. But simple had ended the moment Emily smiled at Lily and made the little apartment feel like home. Lily tugged on Emily's sleeve. "Stay for dinner, please?" Emily glanced at Jack, waiting for him to answer. He hesitated, then sighed, the tension between responsibility and desire unraveling. "All right," he said, trying to sound firm but failing miserably. Dinner was a messy affair, pasta sauce on Lily's nose, crumbs on the floor, but it was perfect in a way Jack hadn't realized he missed. Emily laughed when Lily made an exaggerated face at her spaghetti, and Jack couldn't help but watch them, feeling a flicker of something dangerous, yet exhilarating. Hope. After dinner, Emily helped Lily with her homework while Jack cleaned up. He noticed the way Emily moved around the apartment, the ease with which she settled into their chaotic little world. And then, the moment came that made his heart pound in a way that was entirely unfair. Emily bent down to tie Lily's shoelaces for the 100th time, and Jack caught her scent, soft, warm, comforting. He swallowed, trying to focus on washing the dishes, but his mind betrayed him, replaying the memory of her smile, her laugh, the way she looked at Lily like she mattered more than anything else in the world. "Jack." Emily's voice broke through his thoughts. He turned, startled. She was standing close now. Too close, holding a stray piece of paper Lily had dropped. "You're quiet," she said softly. "Everything okay?" Jack cleared his throat, embarrassed at his own distraction. "Yeah, just tired, I guess." Emily tilted her head, studying him. There was something in her gaze, something that made him want to tell her everything he'd been holding back, every lonely night, every sleepless worry, every moment he'd longed for someone who could understand him and love his daughter without hesitation. Instead, he just nodded. "Yeah, tired." But Emily didn't let it go. "Jack, you don't have to do everything alone. You don't have to be strong all the time. We're happy when you let us in." Her words hit him like a revelation. All this time, he had thought being a good dad meant sacrificing himself entirely, keeping emotions locked away. But Emily was showing him another way, a way where love and laughter could exist, without guilt. Lily, sensing the tension, climbed onto Jack's lap and whispered, "Daddy, I think I like her more than ice cream. Jack laughed, hugging her tight. I think she likes you too, Pumpkin. Emily smiled, her eyes glimmering with warmth. You're both amazing, she said, almost shyly. I never thought one night could change anything. But it feels right. Jack's heart raced.
Right.
That word echoed in his mind. Everything he had planned, every rule, every boundary, was dissolving in the face of something real, something he had thought he might never find again. And Lily, the little matchmaker with a heart too big for her age, whispered again. Daddy, can she stay forever? Jack didn't answer immediately. He couldn't, but for the first time he didn't need to. The truth was written in every laugh, every smile, every moment they shared. Emily had already stayed. She had already become part of their lives. And maybe, just maybe, Jack was ready to let her. The following week began like any other. Jack rushing out to work, Lily chattering about school, and Emily arriving promptly in the afternoons, a cheerful presence that brightened even the dullest corners of their apartment. Jack had grown used to her being there, yet he still felt a strange flutter every time she smiled at him or reached for Lily's hand. But life has a way of complicating even the most carefully balanced moments. It started with a knock on the door one evening. Jack opened it to find his sister, Claire, standing there with her arms crossed and an unreadable expression on her face. She stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, her gaze quickly taking in Emily and Lily playing a board game on the floor. Who's this? Claire asked, her tone sharp. Jack stiffened. Claire, this is Emily. She's, a friend. Emily, this is my sister, Claire. Emily stood, offering a polite smile, but Jack could see the tension in her posture. Claire's eyes narrowed. A friend, huh?
Just one night, maybe.
Her voice carried a note of suspicion that made Jack's stomach tighten. Claire, Jack began, but she cut him off. I don't know, Jack. You've been so closed off for so long, and now, all of a sudden, there's someone coming in here, acting like part of your life? You need to think about Lily, too. Don't rush this. Jack felt the blood drain from his face. He had been trying to manage the delicate balance of building a connection with Emily without letting it overwhelm their lives. Now it felt like everything was under scrutiny. Emily, sensing the tension, stepped forward gently. Claire, I'm not trying to replace anyone. I care about Jack and Lily, that's all. Claire's gaze softened slightly, but the doubt in her eyes remained. Just be careful. Jack, you've worked so hard on your own. Don't let anyone complicate your life unnecessarily. After Claire left, the apartment felt heavier, almost suffocating. Lily, oblivious to the adult tension, tugged at Emily's sleeve. Don't go, please. Emily knelt beside her, brushing her hair from her eyes. I'm not going anywhere, Lily. I promise. Jack stood behind them, watching, feeling a twinge of guilt and fear. Could he really open his life to Emily? Could he trust someone else to be part of their world after years of keeping his heart locked away? That night, after Lily went to bed, Jack and Emily sat together on the couch. Silence stretched between them, filled with unspoken worries. Claire came by, Jack said finally, breaking the quiet. Emily nodded, understanding immediately. She's protective. And she's right, it's a lot to take in. But Jack, we don't have to figure everything out at once. We're already doing this slowly, and that's okay. Jack looked at her, seeing the calm reassurance in her eyes, the warmth that had drawn him in from the start. I know, he admitted, but I don't want to mess this up for you, for Lily, for us. Emily reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. You won't. We'll figure it out together. And Lily, she's already decided. She wants this. She believes in us. The words hit him harder than he expected. Lily's innocence, her unwavering faith in Emily, reminded Jack of everything he had been missing in his life. He realized that protecting his heart had also meant depriving them both of happiness. The next morning, Jack woke to find a note on the fridge, written in Emily's familiar handwriting. We don't have to rush. But every moment counts. Don't forget to enjoy them. He smiled, feeling a warmth that chased away the stress from Claire's visit. Maybe, just maybe, letting Emily into their lives wasn't reckless. It was the only way forward. Later that day, Jack returned home from work to find Lily and Emily in the kitchen, making cookies. Flour dusted their hair and clothes, laughter spilling into every corner of the apartment.
Daddy.
Come see, Lily called, holding up a lopsided cookie shaped like a heart. Jack laughed, walking over to join them. Emily handed him a cookie, and for the first time in years, he felt the full weight of joy and belonging settle over him. Lily, tugging on Emily's hand, whispered, "See?
I told you, Daddy.
She can stay." Jack glanced at Emily, seeing the gentle smile on her face and the way she looked at Lily, not just with affection, but with care, patience, and love. He realized then that this wasn't a fleeting night or a temporary arrangement. Emily was becoming part of their family, slowly, gently, and completely. That night, as Jack tucked Lily into bed, she whispered, "Daddy, can we ask her to stay for real now?" Jack hugged her tight, a sense of clarity washing over him. "Yes, Pumpkin. We can." For the first time in years, Jack didn't feel alone. He had Lily, he had Emily, and together they were building something stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, a family born from laughter, trust, and the little whispers of a child who believed in love more than anyone else. And as he turned off the light and watched Lily drift to sleep, Jack finally allowed himself to hope. Truly hope. The morning sun spilled through the curtains, casting a warm glow across Jack's apartment. For once, Jack didn't feel the familiar weight of exhaustion pressing on his chest. He felt different. Lighter. Hopeful. Lily was already awake, bouncing on her bed with a grin that could melt steel. "Daddy. She's coming today." Jack chuckled, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. "She's coming, Pumpkin. Are you excited?" "Excited? I'm over the moon excited," Lily exclaimed, throwing herself at him for a hug. "Daddy, can we tell her she can stay forever?" Jack hugged her back, feeling a mix of warmth and nervousness. Today was the day he would stop pretending. Stop holding back. Stop fearing that opening his heart to Emily might be too much. When Emily arrived, she carried her usual gentle smile, but Jack noticed a slight nervousness in her eyes, mirroring his own. They exchanged a quiet nod, an unspoken agreement that today, the walls they had kept up for so long would come down. Lily, of course, made it impossible for things to stay subtle. She practically dragged Emily into the living room. "Sit with us. Daddy wants to talk to you anyway." Jack took a deep breath. "Emily, I need to tell you something." Emily's eyes softened, waiting patiently. Jack looked at Lily, then back at Emily. "I don't want this to be just lunches or one-night visits anymore. I want you to stay. With us. For real. If you'll have us, I mean." Emily's eyes widened slightly, then softened into something tender. "Jack, I was hoping you'd say that. I want to stay too. With both of you. I've never felt this way before, so welcomed, so at home." Lily's face lit up like the sun breaking through a storm. She leapt into Emily's arms, hugging her tightly. "See? I knew you'd say yes." Jack watched them, his heart swelling with an emotion he hadn't allowed himself to feel in years. Love. Pure, simple, unrestrained love. The rest of the day felt like a celebration in slow motion. They baked cookies, laughed until their sides hurt, and even managed a messy indoor fort in the living room, complete with fairy lights and Lily's stuffed animals. Emily fit seamlessly into every corner of their life, as if she had always belonged. That evening, Jack found himself sitting on the couch beside Emily, watching Lily sleep. The little girl's face, peaceful and content, reflected the security and happiness they had all found together. "I don't know how to thank you," Jack said quietly, brushing a loose strand of hair from Emily's face. Emily shook her head gently. "Don't thank me. You invited me into your life. You trusted me. That's all the thanks I need." Jack's chest tightened. "I've been so afraid for so long. Afraid of letting anyone in, afraid of losing control, afraid of failing Lily. But with you, it feels right. Safe. Like finally, I'm not alone anymore." Emily leaned closer, her forehead resting against his. "You're not alone, Jack. You have me and you have Lily. We're a family now. Jack smiled, a genuine, unguarded smile that hadn't come so easily in years. He realized that sometimes life's most beautiful moments came from the most unexpected beginnings, a single night that blossomed into forever. Lily stirred, half awake, and mumbled, "Daddy, she's staying forever, right?" Jack kissed her forehead. "Yes, Pumpkin. She's staying forever." Lily's small arms wrapped around Emily once more in her sleep, and Jack watched, feeling the last pieces of his fear melt away. He knew there would be challenges ahead. Life wasn't suddenly perfect, but for the first time, he felt ready to face them. Together. Later that night, as Jack tucked Lily into bed for real, she whispered, "Daddy, I love her." Jack smiled, stroking her hair. "I love her too, Pumpkin. And I love you. And together, we'll figure everything out." Downstairs, Emily cleaned the kitchen, humming softly. Jack joined her, and they moved around each other with the ease of a life already intertwined. No words were needed. Every glance, every smile, every small touch spoke volumes. Jack realized that love didn't always arrive in perfect, tidy packages. Sometimes it came in unexpected ways, wrapped in laughter, trust, and the persistent wishes of a little girl with a big heart. As he stood in the doorway, watching Emily and Lily together, Jack felt a profound sense of peace. This wasn't just a one-night story. This was the beginning of forever, a life full of warmth, love, and family. And somewhere in the quiet of their apartment, Lily whispered once more, sleepily but content, "Daddy, we're happy now." Jack smiled, resting a hand on Emily's shoulder. "Yes, we are, Pumpkin. Yes, we are." For the first time in years, Jack didn't have to pretend. They were a family, imperfect, beautiful, and finally together.